Well, good afternoon. It's a beautiful day here in Charlotte, and I am having to do this lesson this week. It's actually from a couple of weeks ago that we did not have the recording going, so I'm re-recording it now. And I welcome you. And I have a little bit of exciting news if you watch this that we just have a few more lessons in this series to do. And once we are finished with this, we're going to start a new series on Revelation called The Blessed Hope, the Book of Revelation by Robert Godfrey. And I'm looking forward to this. I have already gone through the course. It's very, very good. So I hope you'll be looking forward to that as well. So, we're going to continue today with our series, Living with Joy. And as we've said before, if the Lord is your joy will never end. The truth will set you free. Charles Spurgeon. And today we're going to talk about the battle for the mind, Philippians 4, 8, and 9. And this is a very important lesson as we look to see how Satan tries to control our mind. Here's the verses. Finally, brethren, whatever things are true, whatever things are noble, whatever things are just, whatever things are pure, whatever things are lovely, whatever things are of good report, if there is any virtue, and if there is anything praiseworthy, meditate on these things. The things which you learned and received and heard and saw in me, these do, and the God of peace will be with you. Philippians 4, 8, and 9. This is an interesting passage. Years ago, when I was taking a class in homiletics, which is a class in preaching, um, I had this passage to uh, 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 preach on. And I have to be quite honest, this is absolutely the worst effort that I ever made in preaching. I just did not know how to unpack something like this. So I didn't do a very good job because I didn't think about all these different things, and I really, really had a very poor effort on this passage. But now, after being able to find some work in concordances and in commentaries and studying it a bit more, I have a much better grasp, I think, thanks to those. And so we will be going forward with this now. When Paul instructs the believers to dwell on these things, what is the significance of his choice of vocabulary and grammar for the word dwell? Well, to dwell on something means to give it a lot of attention, to meditate on it, to think deeply on it, to dwell on something. So this is the context that he is using in this passage. This idea of dwelling on something is extremely important. Dwell is a mathematical term. Um, it means making a careful consideration, uh, being very measured in how you approach something. It takes great concentration to dwell on something. It's an evaluation. As you look at something and you dwell on it, you're evaluating it. You're looking to see how it might be applicable, and it's to take into account this particular things. So as this list unfolds, we're to take those into account. And it requires thinking. It requires thinking. So to dwell on is in the present tense. That's very important because that when it's in the present tense like this, it means something that we are to be continually doing. It's not something that we just do and stop. but we're to continually dwell on it. And so we're always thinking of these things. We're always thinking of this list of things about Jesus. It's something that should always be a part of our minds. It's in the active tense. So it's something that we are doing. It's an action. We are involved in it. It should take action as we dwell on something. And it's imperative. So it's a command. Paul is making an apostolic command to dwell on these things that he's revealing about Jesus. Spiritual stability is a result of how a person thinks. The Bible leaves no doubt that people's lives are the product of their thoughts. And this is John MacArthur from his New Testament commentary on Philippians, and it's on page 285. So, whatever is true, well, what does that mean? It means what is faithful, reliable, it is not false, it is not a lie, it aligns with God's word. And so we need to focus on what is true because it leads to true Christianity, leads to true Christianity. And dwelling on what happens if we dwell on the antithesis of it? It produces false living. If we do not dwell on the truth, we wind up dwelling on things that, such as comments like, there are no absolutes. That is not true. That's antithesis of true. So it's false living to think that we can that we can have no absolutes. As R.C. Sproul has often said, as soon as you say there is no absolute, you've made an absolute. And so dwelling on the antithesis will produce false living. And we want to think about whatever is honorable. What is honorable? It's something that is noble, it is dignified, it is lofty. Something that is noble, is lofty. It represents a high and lofty morality. So when we think of something that is honorable, we think of something that is it's very well respected. It's very well received by people. Um, a judge is an honorable person. So they are addressed as your honor. And a judge should, if you think about a judge is all these things. He's noble, he is dignified, he's lofty, and he represents a high and a lofty morality. And of course, we need to be dwelling on what is right. And what is right is something that is upright. It's something that is an important thing to be considering. It's something that is holy. It's something that is set apart. Something that is right is set apart. God is right. Jesus is right. It conforms to the law of God. What is right conforms to the law of God. It's close to being truth, but truth is a stronger word, maybe, than right. But both of them have to do with a tremendous attribute of God and particular of Jesus. It's often used in the marketplace. If you see this comparison, here's a set of scales, and when you would go to the market in these days, and even today, as you go to get something measured in the market, they put it on a scale, and the scale has certain ways that it weighs things. In those days, they would have like maybe a 1 pound uh, weight, and they would put it on one side, and they'd fill the other side, which would be the higher side, and they would fill it until they became right. There you have it. That's what right is. It's when the scale is balanced. That is what is right. Whatever is pure. Um, Sorry about this, but it comes from the word hegnos. The root word means holy. Something that is pure is holy. It's holiness. It has to do with sanctification, of being made pure. And we're supposed to think about these things, that they're wholesome, they're virtuous. These are the pure things: holy, holiness, sanctified, wholesome, and virtuous. It's unstained by corruption. Whatever is lovely, it's pleasing, it's attractive, it's beautiful. Lovely represents something that is sweet, something that is gracious, something that is generous. Also, it's to be of good repute. It's uh, some of good repute means somebody that's well spoken of. Jesus obviously was well spoken of. It's highly regarded by God. Somebody that is of good repute is highly regarded of God. This is something that officers in the church are to have, being well spoken of by people outside the church and the community, and that they're highly regarded. So somebody that is of good repute and also highly regarded by God. There is a negative aspect. Neither filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor coarse jesting, which are not fitting, but rather giving of than and then Ephesians, and that's Ephesians 5:4. So of good repute, there's not to be filthiness, nor foolish talking, nor coarse jesting. They are not fitting. They are not fitting. If there is any excellence, if there is any excellence, it's mental virtue. Excellence is mental virtue. It reflects high moral standards. Our thoughts are consumed with the perfect and pleasing will of God. And do not be conformed to this world, but be transformed by the renewing of your mind, that you may that prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of God. The battle for the Christian mind is the battle for the mind. We can thank our friend J.I. Packer for this quote. Anything that is worthy of praise, anything that is worthy of praise, anything and everything that can be praised by God. Now, this is kind of a reverse of things. We always think of praising God, but this is talking about something that can be praised by God. Jesus can be praised by God. And as we imitate him, the things that we do should be praised by God. Anything that can be applauded by God. When God says, good, well done, good and faithful servant, it's applauded by God. And of course, everything that Jesus did was applauded by God, and anything that is pleasing by God. So, uh, so anything that is worthy of praise. And that brings us to the point we should always ask ourselves this question when we are making decisions, when we're doing things. We should ask ourselves, is this pleasing to God? Is this praiseworthy of God? And if we can answer yes, then we probably it's probably something that we should be doing. So Paul then talks about things that have learned. These are the things that Paul has taught them. He's been teaching them all through this book of Philippians, and he's been laying out different aspects of it, on suffering, on giving, on fellowship. All these things Paul has taught them. Most importantly, he's taught them to rejoice in the Lord always. Again, he says, rejoice. He's given them sound doctrine. He's given them sound doctrine. Good preaching. that he has done with them and the things received. He refers to the contents of this letter. This letter has given them a tremendous amount of things to consider, things to think about, things to apply to their lives. The reading of the word, he talks about the word and giving the word and having the word. And this letter particularly was a letter to be read to people. And as an apostolic letter that is considered um, part of the canon of Scripture, this is something we should be reading. It's interesting, as I posted one of these videos, I got a message from one of my friends from college, and she said how she had learned and memorized all 4 chapters of Philippians. What a great testimony that was to hear that had been part of her heritage. Um, Again, the things received being preaching, studying its truths. Those are things that, again, they have received from the contents of this letter. Things heard refers to the reports that they received about Paul. Remember, he was in prison and they received reports about what was going on with him, how he was being uh, held 24 hours a day, chained to one person in a room, an apartment apparently that he actually had to pay for and make his own provisions. So they heard about his imprisonment, his suffering, and then things seen. What did they see in the life of Paul when he was with them? How did he interact with the people in Philippi? How did he interact with those that were working around him? These were things that Paul was saying, look at these things, and he's saying, imitate me. Um, they saw his imprisonment. They got reports on his imprisonment. They heard it from Epaphroditus about what was going on. They saw how he walked in faith, which was very important to understand because they saw how he acted and reacted. And they saw always that he reacted in joy in serving the Lord. They were to imitate all these things that they had seen and heard from him. Okay, which Christian leader is quoted as saying, the battle uh, I need to correct something here, and I will do it as we answer this. Which Christian leader is quoted as saying, the battle for the Christian mind is the battle for the Christian mind? It was actually John Stott. It was not J.I. Packer. It was John Stott. So I hope you've kept listening so you got that correction of who that quote was by. Whom does Paul primarily have in mind when he addresses the brethren in Philippians 4:8? Is it all believers in every place? Is it all believers in the Philippian church? Is it older, more mature Christians, or is it recent converts to the Christian faith? It was all believers in every place. This was considered a circular letter. It was not just to rest with the Philippians, but it was to be spread across to all believers. Which sphere of life is the Greek term dwell usually associated? It's household management, literature, mathematics, or philosophy. Well, as you recall, it's mathematics because it's very detailed, it's very thought out. So it's mathematics. Which of the following best describes the meaning of honorable in Philippians 4:8? Worthy of respect. Honorable means being worthy of respect. Which best describes the meaning of lovely in Philippians 4:8? Is it in harmony with God's character, morally attractive, well thought of, or without blemish? It's morally attractive. Morally attractive. Okay, so that brings us to the end of this lesson. I know it went through quickly. The unfortunate part of when I just do this myself is we miss out on all the discussion that we have in the class, and that is really valuable. I apologize for not having that as a part of this video. So, so he breaks the power of canceled sin. He sets the prisoner free. His blood can make the foulest clean. His blood was availed for me, and therefore we should be joyful. And as Martin Luther has said, a Christian is never in a state of completion, but always in the process of becoming. And so the next video, which is already up, is the church that is remembered. It's from Philippians 4:10 to 18. As we have been going so far, we've just covered one or two verses at a time. This time we're going to cover, in the next session, we cover 10 to 18. So it's a longer passage that we cover. And so I hope that you'll avail yourself to uh, looking at that one as well. And I thank you for viewing this series that we call the Sheer Elective Series. The class is always online in a Zoom call on Sunday mornings at 9 a.m. If you would like to be a part of that, send me an email at drennen@gmail.com, and I will send you a link to the class. And if you enjoyed viewing the class, please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Dennis Drennan, for all our classes in the Sheer Elective series. Thank you so much for being a part of the class today, and I look forward to having more opportunities to share videos with you.